Yes, a company is opening up shop at Shreveport Regional Airport. Mike Anderson, you're the head honcho for what's called Advanced Aero Services, correct?
Correct.
And you guys are doing what in Shreveport?
Basically, we're starting a company that's going to do aviation maintenance for basically all the major carriers and outside customers such as leasing companies, things like that.
How many jobs does this
Yeah,
bring
because
to
I
town?
saw it. Well, you can fill us in. But did I see, because I think it was in your newscast, eventually as many as 1,200? Is that legit? That would be awesome.
Yeah, that is very legit. I've actually run a couple companies up to 1,800 people. Grew them up to those levels. So
You sure
what
I
we're
can't
starting,
get you some coffee? Maybe a
No,
donut.
no,
I can run.
I've had my 30 ounces already.
I'm kind of sucking up here with a certain degree of legitimacy. Please keep talking. Tell me more good news.
But basically, we'll start off in a small facility, but in the meantime, we're also going to start the process of developing and building a group of hangars, one stage at a time, so we can actually build the employment to match that. And we'll basically grow up to potentially 12 to 1,500 employees.
Pardon me. Just
Well, what do you do? What does your company do?
It does maintenance and modifications on aircraft, plus we're going to do manufacturing, and we're also going to work with government agencies and so forth. So there's a lot of things that we will do. We won't just do one thing.
Started
So
to
if
say,
you,
give
so
us
if
a-
you don't know how to wield a wrench like Robert, it's not a job for you. You need to have some technical skills, correct?
Well, we will be doing a lot of training, and maybe there'll be a class he can attend.
I started to say a couple of times. Give us a little background on yourself, your business history, and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. Basically, I've been doing aviation and aviation maintenance for
Shreveport
over 30 years. No, all over the U.S. I'll say it that way.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
lived in the Midwest. I've lived on the West Coast, the South Coast, and the East Coast.
Why here? Why did Shreveport look good for you? Was the absence of this sort of business was the whole that glaring? Was it that large?
I looked at a lot of sites, up to 9 different sites, potential sites. And what I had to look for is, number one, is the ability to do business there, obviously. The ability to attract a workforce and build a workforce.
Excuse
all
me,
those
just,
things.
I want you to finish. But you said you looked all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
You've got backers, you've got money, you've got a great idea, and you chose us.
Correct.
Which we're kind of beaming right now. Now, as part of your answer, tell us why here.
Because you have a potential labor force that I can utilize. You have a good school that can train employees, SUSLA, for example. And you have an Air Force base where, the people that are in the Air Force, as they leave the Air Force, have an opportunity to come work with us, and they already have some experience in aircraft.
Okay. How did the deal come together with you guys?
So the former administration actually brought this to us to do due diligence. We often do due diligence on deals that come to the city, and so it was brought to us.
You mean the Tyler administration? I'm sorry.
That is correct.
Okay.
And so I started working with Mike. It's been about 2.5 years in the making. We've hit a couple of hurdles, but here we are today, and we're excited that we're launching. Again, I'm with the Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program. We vet startup companies, and we do economic development for the region.
Okay. How soon will we see these jobs? How soon are people going to actually start getting paychecks?
The initial startup is going to probably be sometime in early April. Okay. And we'll be gearing up to approximately only 70 employees because we have a smaller facility to start with. But then we'll immediately switch over and also start developing the larger facilities. And the intent is to, within 2 years, have a large hangar where we can house 3 to 4 aircraft of commercial aviation, commercial carrier size. Mm-hmm. And then from there, about every 2 years, we'll expand. And the intent is to expand every 2 years and gradually work our way up to well over 1,000 people.
Pardon me. Eventually 1,000 people. In how many years would this be?
About 5 years.
Holy cow. Okay, so how many people total work at the airport right now? I would think not anywhere near 1,200.
I would think closer to 50, 60.
So you literally are oh, my goodness, this is a huge deal. So you sure you don't want coffee or a donut?
No, I'd pass them both because I ate too good last
night. A breakfast bagel. I can go out. We are that beholden to you.
Now, Mike Anderson is the president of Advanced Aero Services. These are not entry-level type jobs. The pay for these is well above 40 grand, I'm told, correct?
Yeah, the average pay is going to be in that range.
Okay.
There will be a few apprentices that will start off a little bit lower, but then there's also those with experience can start off higher. So if you take the average of the expectation of need, we're talking about a little over 40,000.
Will you find most of those folks from right here in the local market, or will you have to reach out to other markets to bring those folks in?
The intent is to bring most of the people from this market specifically. What in my past history, I've run some large facilities, and what we have to do is we have to create a local workforce, because what you want is the indigenous workforce that will stay with you, stay in the area, and that way you build your culture, you build your capabilities and so forth based on the experience they gain as they grow with you.
And
So
that's the whole
exciting.
purpose of the ramp up. And you don't just start out with 1,000 jobs. You build that workforce over time, partnering with SUSLA, partnering with
Bipsy, I guess, yeah.
and the
All of them.
307th Bomb Wing. It's one of the largest reserve units. So a lot of those folks in there are actually already trained and may just need some certifications that they can go out into the private sector and work.